Who among the cast has the best impersonation of other wrestlers?
I'm going to give a very easy answer to this question. I think Harris is best at it.
Yeah. The hands that will deliver the iron claw to you.
He is. He's a big wrestling fan. He goes way back, and he's seen
Yeah.
a lot of the greats in person, man. He's fun to talk to about it.
Yeah.
I know that over the course of training for the movie, it would keep me up at night, prepping for the role, and became almost an obsession. I did become an obsession, and that brought me into the role, man. There was I just kind of was able to become a savage and put it all into the training, and it didn't present me with any personal gratification other than the fact that while filming the movie, I didn't have to do much to feel as I imagine Kevin would have felt in those scenarios, which was sore and beat the hell up. It took over my physicality in a way that worked really well. So I'm grateful for it. It was really fun, and it really did help the performance.
I think for him it was his way into the dedication, the sacrifice, the physical, like putting the body first sort of notion that Kevin would have lived by at times. And that was very much his own training and his own plan, and I really left that to each of the guys about how they were going to approach their own physicality. I wasn't interested in trying to make them match perfectly or anything like that. I sort of had the silhouette of their stature, of David being the tallest, and the sort of a few key elements, but other than that, I really left it to them to individually find the way they needed to find the way in physically, and really focus more on the wrestling. I really worked really closely with Chavo to get them wrestling at a level that was going to be high enough for the film.
People said my family was cursed. Mom tried to protect us with God. Pop tried to protect us with wrestling.
Because of how deeply religious she was, I would say Doris wasn't really buying it. I mean, she believed God was in charge of things. So I don't think she bought into that. And I don't even know, would you say, I think Kevin did more than, do you think your character believed that there was a curse on the family?
Well, look, I think that Fritz was also, like Doris, a genuinely religious guy, and I think that he felt that his family had been subjected to a lot of undeserved tragedy.
By God, yeah.
It began with, the death of their first son, Jack Jr., when he was just 6 years old, and then obviously when David Von Erich, died in Japan, and then when Mike Von Erich broke his shoulder and ended up with this rare toxic shock syndrome. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That had him in a coma, and we almost lost him. And then Kerry's motorcycle accident. He loses a foot. Mike commits suicide. At a certain point, I think that although Fritz was born again and was a Christian and was a believer, at a certain point, he asks, the Lord, why? What did I ever do to deserve all of these tragedies in my family? It's like the hits just keep on coming. Again and again and again, tragedy has been visited upon my family.
One of the early things that happened in making this film and researching and looking at the family as a whole was that it was a sort of unthinkable Greek tragedy. And so in finding my way into the story, I really leaned on the traditions of Greek tragedy to really find the structure and to give myself a structure to tell the story. And one of those things is that bad news is delivered from off stage. And it actually really fit naturally into, how Fritz found out that David had died, you know? Someone showed up at his door and told him, you know, things like that. So it was a part of the family story anyway, and it just really fit my type of storytelling.
It's interesting. There was this piece of footage that Sean showed me really early in production of Kerry in real life. Speaking from the hospital bed after that accident, obviously I know now how serious that injury was, and then he had pretty much lost, you know, part of his foot. But he's sitting there in the hospital bed with a smile on, telling everybody it's going to be okay, he'll be back in the ring, everything's going to be fine, just like smiling through that pain. And I really latched on to that idea of Kerry, and I think all of the brothers felt that feeling to an extent of just like trudge forward. It doesn't matter what happens, trudge forward. And yeah, I mean, what a scary position to be in, you know, when your identity is so wrapped up in this thing, and your whole sense of self, and certainly the approval that you're getting from the world is surrounding professional wrestling. If that's threatened with an injury like that, it wasn't that difficult to imagine what kind of like a frightening position that would be for Kerry. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said if we were the toughest, the strongest, nothing had ever hurt us. I believed him. We all did.
I think it was interesting, and I think Sean also made that choice for all the characters, which was like, you know, if you had a question about how much emotion should I show in this scene, and the answer would often be none. Like, because that's, you know, strap it on, do your job, be a good mother, be a good father, be a good wrestler, be a good kid. So she didn't indulge the kids a lot. So I don't think they got a ton of warmth from either one of them.
What do you think the legacy of the Iron Claws football scene will be in comparison to Top Gun's volleyball scene?
I mean, you know, that's for you guys to decide. I mean, I loved that scene. It was such a wonderful day. It was like, I think it was one of our first days all together, and for me personally, it was just like I snapped into playing backyard football with my dad and my friends, and was suddenly like a football coach, which I didn't know I was. And so it was really fun, and to see all those, like, you know, dynamics between them, the sort of playful competitiveness. It just really was a big moment for us on set to like be all together and to see those, you know, those little brotherly nuances come out. It's really fun.
I love your family, Kevin.
Mike in real life was a really good musician, and hopefully I could show that aspect of his lifestyle off a little bit, and you know, it was a really fun scene to shoot. I was very nervous, but it was nice. Mike, that was like Mike's. Like it was his.
Exactly.
Nobody else had had to that. You know.
Yeah.
I think maybe David a little bit influenced him.
Sure.
In that aspect, but he was definitely like the musician of the family, and I think that he definitely, that was his thing, and his father didn't necessarily didn't really have any influence over that, I think.
Right.
That's what, and I think that the scene itself was really fun to shoot. We shot it live, and it was just in front of these guys, and we just
so good.
We just had fun that day.
Yeah.
Played with a really good band called Lovers, and they're based out of Louisiana. And yeah, it was a fun time.
Sneaking out of the house and filming that party scene was one of the most fun parts. of that
There was like so much joy in that, like
it was
like pushing the truck
and overwhelming sense of being just tremendously proud of you. And that it was awesome, man. That's like an undertaking. Singing live in front of a big party, man. That's a lot. So that was really cool to watch. I remember I was very proud in that moment. So.
The Von Erich will forever be the greatest family in the history of wrestling.